here for some Pilates flow. Today our focus is going to be on balance. So just don't take it too seriously. Feel free to put your foot down at any time if we're doing stuff on one leg and you feel like you're going to topple over. Just don't worry about it. Just topple over and start over again, okay? And let's get started with a little warm up. Roll your shoulders down your back, draw in through your abdominals, and let's start with some neck circles this morning. Drop your chin to your chest, look over to your right shoulder, then bring that right ear back behind you into a nice extension. The chin floats, and we go all the way over to look at the left shoulder and drag the chin across your chest and start again going right. That ear drops behind you. We find that nice extension up, gentle, as we move through this circle, coming back through center. And now let's go to the left for two. Looking left, the left ear drops back, chin floats all the way over to the right, and pull the chin through. Last time to the left, up and over, looking right, and coming through center. Let's stick around here, floating the chin to extension, and back to flexion. And one more time, float the chin up, and then coming back to a nice neutral neck. Floating your arms out, we're gonna bring the arms out like you're holding a big, I say a basket or a box or something like that, okay? So you're holding something in your arms. You're gonna reach that basket forward, and then pull with your shoulder blades back, finding protraction and retraction with the shoulder blades, letting the shoulder blades glide forward and drawing them back. We're squeezing, letting them come forward and squeezing the shoulder blades together and reaching out and pulling back. And again, and pull back. One more time, reach it out, and pulling it back and floating the arms over your head. So we don't want to have the basket right above your head, it's slightly in front of you. Draw in with your abdominals just a little bit, push your feet into the floor. Now reach the basket up a little bit, letting your shoulder blades glide up to the ears, and then draw the shoulder blades down. Reaching it up, and drawing it down. And again, they glide upwards, and you depress them down. One more time, and back down. Letting that go, shake your arms out. Let's nod the chin and roll down. First forward fold. Taking your time here, keep that micro bend in your knees. Take a big breath in, and exhale, ragdoll up, using your abdominals to stand you up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders. Let's go back down, nod the chin, soften the sternum, lift the abdominals, and take your time rolling down. Big breath in at the bottom, and exhale, ragdoll up. Your head and shoulders are the last thing to come up. Roll those scapulas back. We're going one more time. Big breath in, nod the chin, roll it down, exhale. Big inhale at the bottom, exhale, press your feet into the floor, use your abdominals as you stack everything back up. Awesome, all right, you're gonna take the right foot and stagger it in front of your left foot. So now you've got one in front of the other. We're gonna find a connection with your inner thighs here. So we're squeezing the inner thighs. Let's squeeze the glutes just a little bit. Draw in through the tummy, find that internal corset, and we're gonna start our arm circles backwards. So circling the arms, keep squeezing those inner thighs. Inhale up, exhale, pull down. Everything staying still and centered as we move through the arms. And let's go the other way as well. Up and over, push the air down. Like we're moving through water, reaching past our fingers. Awesome. One more. Keeping the legs where they are, bring your hands behind your head. We're tipping over away from your right leg, so to the left. Nice side bend here. Let's reach the arms long. Bring them back to your head. Exhale, use this long side to come back up nice and tall. We're coming over to the left, reaching the arms out long. Bring them back to your head. Keep squeezing those inner thighs. And exhale, coming up tall. 3 more times. Tipping over. Draw in through the tummy. Stabilize with your inner thighs. Back here. And back tall. Whew, 2 more. Over. Reaching long. Back to the head. And standing tall. Whew. Last one. This is a lot of work to stabilize. My ankles are really working hard. Reach. And back to the head. And standing tall. And let's let that go. Shake it off. Just notice how much work it is in the legs just to hold that position and to stay balanced. Now bringing the left foot in front of the right. Squeeze those inner thighs. Find this connection first between the inner thighs. Squeeze the glutes. Draw in through the abdominals. We're arm circling forward. Big circles. Keep that connection at the top of your inner thighs. Up and over. And over. One more time. Forward. And then back. And 3 more. Big inhale. Big exhale. Last one. Hands come behind the head. Now we're tipping over to the right. Coming over. Reach your arms long. Back to the head. And use your obliques to get tall. So it's always the long side that's bringing you back. Over we go. So notice that one is long, one is short. Reach the arms. Back to the head. And tall. Woo, I can barely do this one. Let's do 3 more. Over we go. Keep squeezing those inner thighs. And we reach. And back to the head. And up. And again. Reach it long. This one is way more challenging for me. Back up. And getting tall. Nice work. Last one. Over we go. Reach it. Back to the head. And standing tall. Whew, yeah, so hard. Shake it off. Notice the energy in your body. We're going to come into some squats. Before we do that, I forgot to mention it. For this class, you're going to need 1 dumbbell. I'm using a 5-pound dumbbell. I've also got a cushion just for later at the very end. And if you need any cushioning for your knees later on, make sure you have that available too. All right, should have said that at the beginning, forgot. Can't be perfect every day. All right, so bring your feet hip width apart now. I'm going to show you this from the side and then I'll face you again. So we're going to be coming down into our squat. The arms float out in front of us. We're going to come up onto the toes, place the heels down, stand tall, and when we get tall, we're coming back up onto the toes, lowering the heels, squatting down, lifting the heels, lowering them, and standing tall. Okay, so that's the pattern. Let's get into it. Wide stance, so not too wide, just slightly wider than hip width, okay? And let's go into our squat. Sit bones go back, reach through your spine. We're gonna lift both heels off the floor, put them back down, stand tall, and then back up onto your toes. Put the heels down, we squat down, float the arms, heels come up, lower the heels, stand tall, back on the toes. Nice work. Down, heels lift, place them down, stand tall, get taller on the toes, and heels down, squat down, lifting your heels, lower them, stand tall, up on the toes. Nice work. Keeping this pattern for just a little while here, up on the toes, lower the heels, squeeze the glutes, lift back up and down, squat down, Heels up, heels down. Stand tall, heels up. 2 more rounds, lower. Find your squat, lift your heels, lower them. Stand tall, up on the toes. Last one, coming down. Heels up, heels down. Stand tall, up on the toes, hold. We're gonna stay up on our toes. Spread the toes out, make sure you're using all of them. Let's bring the arms overhead and bring them down to your side. Stay up on those toes. Woo, my ankles. And up and back down. One more time, we've got this. Woo, up we go, so hard. And down. Woo, and let that go, shaking it off. Nice work, you guys. Coming into some lunge back. So I'm going to demonstrate this again for you just so you've seen it. We're going to keep one hand in our cactus arm. Okay, and it's kind of going to be up here in front of us, coming out of the shoulder. We're going to step back with the opposite leg, come up, standing on one leg, open the thigh and the arm away from each other, pull them back in, and step back into our lunge. Okay, so from the side, we step back, stand tall, open away from each other, pull in, and come down. Okay, and we'll repeat that over and over. So let's get into it. Bring your right arm into that square position. The left arm is just here for stability and support, okay? Wherever it feels best. Let's step back with the left leg. Step it back. Your both knees are bent. Stand tall. Open. Back together. And in. Let's breathe here. Exhale, stand tall. Inhale, open. Exhale, back together. Inhale, step down. And back up. Exhale. Inhale, open. Squeezing the glute of the standing leg. Step back. And press it up. Squeeze. Open. Back to center. And stand down. Back up. Open. Pull through water like you're moving your limbs very carefully in the air. Out, up, and out. Pull in and back. Let's do 3 more. Stand tall, really tall on that standing leg. Push the foot into the floor. And down. And up. Open. Together. And down. Last one. Step it up. Open. Together. And let that go. One leg is super warm here. The standing leg doing so much stabilizing, so much work. Let's bring the left arm now to that square position. Right arm is just at your side or on your hip. And we're stepping back with the right leg. Remember that each side can be very different. Standing tall. Open. Bring them back in. And step back into your lunge. And we go up. Open. Back together. And back. Nice work. Stay tall here. Now that you know this pattern quite well, see if you can think about other things. Your abdominals, your glute on your standing leg. And step back. Bring it up. Open. Back. Can you think about the back of the shoulder for these last 3? Pull that arm open. Put it back out front. And step. 2 more. Stand tall. And open. Back together. And down. Last one. Up. Open. Together. And let that go. Shaking it off. Nice work, you guys. All right, we're going to grab onto our one weight. And we're going to be moving this weight around in space a little bit. So I want you to be mindful of your elbow and keep a bend in it, okay? Don't let your arm be too straight. If it's too straight, you're gonna hyperextend your elbow, and that really hurts, okay? So we're gonna go back to that staggered foot. Let's bring the right one in front of the left. And then from here, we're going up on our toes. Now, if being up on your toes isn't gonna work for you, just keep your heels down, okay? Now bringing that weight, you're gonna bring both hands out in front of you, holding on to the weight. You're gonna bring your arms up and back down. Take the right arm out with the weight and back. Now back up overhead. Overhead and down. Now the left arm takes the weight out and back to center. Nice work. Overhead. Exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. The right arm takes the weight and we come back to center. Exhale. Up and down. Left arm. We're almost there. And back. Overhead. And down. Keep squeezing your inner thighs. Right arm. And back. Overhead. And down. Left arm. And back to center. Lower your heels. Take a second. Shaking that off. We have one more set with the left leg forward. Squeezing the inner thighs. Squeeze your glutes. Find your abdominals. And then coming up on the toes. Keep all of that squeezing. Reach your weight out in front of you. Overhead. Inhale down. Exhale, right arm. And back to center. Exhale, overhead. And back out in front. Left arm. And back. And overhead. And down. Keep squeezing those inner thighs. Right arm. And back to center. And overhead. And back. Left arm. We have one more set of this. Keep everything on. Overhead. And back down. Right arm. And back to center. Overhead. And back. Last one. Left arm. And back to center. Letting that go. Let the weight go down to the floor. I have one more standing balance exercise and then we're hitting the mat, okay? So this one we're gonna be coming into a modified, it's kind of a modified warrior 3 or Superman. So what it looks like is we're gonna be on one leg, we're gonna send that other leg out behind us, and we're gonna stand here and do some breaststroke, okay? So you're hinged over only as far as you feel comfortable with. Now if this leg behind you isn't working, you're gonna bring the toes and tap them down. Continue the exact same move, but keeping the toes touching the floor. That's your modification, okay? So let's start on the left leg. Bring your right leg behind you, tap your toes down, draw in through your abdominals, and when you're ready, reach your long spine out, lift the tummy up. Doesn't matter how high the leg is. Bend your elbows in. We're doing breaststroke. Dive out, pull in, pull around, dive out, pull around. And again, reach, exhale, pull. The spine stays long the whole time. We're lifted through the abdominals. 4 more. Reach and pull. Reach and pull. 2 more. Bend the elbows and dive it out. Pull to your side. Last one. Reach and pull. And let that go. Whew. One leg working so hard there. Shaking that off. Now we'll go over to the right. This is the last one, you guys. All right, so find that right leg. Bring the left leg behind you. You're either going to leave it there with your toes tapping, or you're coming out onto your right leg. Bring the elbows in beside you. Keep your spine long and reaching. Reach the arms. Pull them around. Bend the elbows and reach. Pull. In. Dive. Pull. In. Dive. Keep reaching through the spine, lifting the tummy here. 4 more. Keep breathing. 3. 2. And last one. And stand tall, shaking that off. Great work, you guys. That balance work is so challenging. You'll definitely feel parts of your lower body, that in your ankles and your lower legs, that you didn't even know were working during those exercises. Come to the end of your mat now. Take a deep breath. Nod the chin and let's roll down into a forward fold. Send your sit bones up, lift your tummy. Hands to the shins, pressing back into the legs. Let's reach our spine long. Halfway lift. We're hanging out here for a moment. Let's think about the space between the shoulder blades, squeezing those shoulders back a little. And let's soften on the exhale. Big breath in. Let's bend your knees and walk your hands out to a plank. When you get there, your modification would be to lower your knees. Otherwise, we're sticking around in plank, lifting the tummy, reach through the heels, reaching through the crown of your head. We're going into some shoulder taps. Now, if you have your knees down, you're doing the exact same thing. So tapping shoulders side to side. And I want you to keep an eye on your shadow on the floor. So your shadow, you can see below you, might be moving side to side as we tap the shoulders. Keep breathing deeply here and see if you can minimize the amount that your shadow is moving side to side. Of course, it's going to move a little bit, but we want to try to minimize it. Can we squeeze our glutes? Can we lift our tummy a little bit more? And let's go for 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Perfect your plank one last time here. Reach long through the spine. Lift the tummy more than you think. And then lower the knees and take a shell stretch. Whew, we made it to the mat. Big breaths into your lower back, big breaths into your hips. Now we're coming out into all fours. I'm going to pad up my knees because my knees do not like this hard surface. And we're coming to some cat-cows, okay? So let's start in a long spine. Reach through the crown of the head. Keep the head in line with your spine here. As you exhale, tucking the tail under, articulating through the spine. Let your head be heavy. Push the floor away. We're in this nice rounded spine. Hold for an inhale. And exhale, coming out tail to head. Unravel the tailbone. Start to feel your abdominals lengthening into a little bit of extension, opening the chest, looking forward. Soften the space between your shoulder blades. Big breath in. Exhale from the tail. Tip of the tail tucks under. Rolling up. And the head gets heavy. We're back. While we hold here, can you just check in with your abdominals and make sure they're really lifting? Big inhale. Exhale from the tailbone. Rolling through the spine. Feel the spine start to soften and come into extension. Looking forward with your chest. Enjoying that softening in the shoulders and upper back. Big breath in. Let's do one more. Exhale from the tip of your tailbone. Rolling it up. The head draws down, and now we're basically in a sit-up here. We're engaging the abdominals upward, pushing the floor away. Big breath in. And let's finish going through back to our cow. Out. Allow the tummy to lower just a little bit between your shoulders. And then coming into your shell stretch. Just giving our spine that little massage. Feels so good. So next we'll be on our forearms. Let's set it up strong. A strong base in the upper body. Elbows are pressing down into the floor right under your shoulders. You're using your entire forearm and the palm of your hand. Take your right leg out long and then bring it across the left leg. So we're going to do some rainbow taps, and what they look like is this. We go up from the floor, out on an angle, and tap to the side. Then we come back up and over. So it's like the shape of a rainbow, okay? Let's start with the leg crossed. Nice strong base. Draw in through the abdominals. Exhale. Bring the leg up and over to tap the floor, up and over to bring it back. Exhale as you go out. Inhale as you bring it back across. Now your goal here is to keep equal weight in your arms and keep pressing the floor away so we aren't sinking through the shoulders. Exhale, we tap. Inhale, we cross. You're reaching through the leg like you're trying to make it longer. And you're keeping a really focused, controlled pace. Exhale, tap. Inhale back. Is your abdominal still connected? Can you bring your belly button a little closer? Let's do 3 more. 3. Inhale, cross. Up and over for 2. And back. And last one. And bring it back where we started, crossed over the left leg. Take a shell stretch coming off of your shoulders. Breathe deeply. And then we head back out to do the other side. So set up that strong base. Play with your shoulder blades a little bit here. Notice what it feels like to sink. Notice what it feels like to be lifted. Take that left leg, cross it over the right, and then up and over. Exhale to tap. Up and over. Inhale to cross. Notice where your kneecap on the standing knee is. You should be in the center of that standing knee, and there shouldn't be a lot of motion or movement at the knee. Stay strong in your shoulders here. Inhale across, exhale, tap it out. And across, and tap. Like the shape of a rainbow, up and over, and tap. Let's go for 4 more. Cross, exhale, tap. Keep pushing the floor away, you guys. Shoulders are getting tired. They're gonna wanna sink. Keep pressing it out. 2 more. 1. And over. 2. And finish where we started. Crossed over. Check your posture here. Are you still lifted? Are your abdominals still with you? And then finish taking a shell. If you have a pad under your knees, you're going to take that out now and come down onto your tummy. Let your arms go long above you and quite wide. So we want to make sure the ears, there's space between the ears and the arms, okay? The legs can be a little bit wide as well, and we want to try to keep the legs parallel. So we're not going to let the feet turn out, okay? You should feel the tops of your feet on the floor. Take a couple breaths here, noticing your abdominals. Can you squeeze your glutes a little? Just tune into some energy in the lower body. Let's point the toes and reach through the legs. We're going to start to move single arm, lift up, inhale down, alternating to the other side. My nose is hovering about 2 inches off the mat. Exhale up, inhale down. Think about moving the shoulder from the back of the shoulder and the shoulder blade, up and down. As we work with the upper body, the lower body is our anchor. Up and down. And again, and down. Keeping the glutes on, keeping the abdominals lifted. 1 more each arm. And now the hands plant down, the nose stays hovering, and we go into our single leg lift. So we're moving from the hip, reaching that leg into a hover. Think of it as a reach to lift. Like you're trying to make your leg longer. Exhale it up, inhale it down. And up. Let's do 1 more, each side. And from here, we're going into opposites. Opposite arm, opposite leg, slow swimming. Up and down. Up and down. My nose is still 1 or 2 inches off the mat. And I'm reaching through the body from the fingertips to the toes, lifting opposite arm, opposite leg. Can you feel your anchor in the center of the body? The abdominals are lifted, keeping the arms away from the ears. The legs are straight. And let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Letting that go, bringing your hands under your forehead. Release all the tension and just wiggle your hips a little. We're bending the right foot so that the sole of, the right knee, so that the sole of your foot is shining up to the ceiling. Engage through the left leg by pushing some energy through the toes. Lift your tummy. And then exhale, hover the knee off the mat so that you're reaching your sole of your foot to the ceiling. Lower it down. It's barely gonna move here, okay, you guys? Very small. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. The knee lifts. Sometimes the top of the thigh still is on the mat. Exhale, up. And down. Straight up. And down. You still have your other leg engaged. And down. 4 more. 4. And 3. Find your abdominals. 2. And 1. Awesome work. Let that leg reach out long. Bend the left knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. Engage your right leg long now. And exhale, hover the left knee. Inhale. Can we drop a little tension out of our shoulders? When we're concentrating, we tend to bring our shoulders right up into the ears. Try to keep a long neck here. Exhale up. Inhale down. And up. And down. 4 more. Check in with other things, abdominals, energy in the right leg. Long spine. 2. And last one. Great work. Let that go. Shake your hips. And we're going to push all the way through to our shell stretch. It's going to feel like $1,000,000 after all of that extension. Just breathe into the lower back like you're trying to fill it with air. Nice long breaths. Okay, now we're going to come onto our back, grabbing the one weight that we have, that we used earlier. So take that weight in your hand. Let's bring it into the right hand and find yourself nice and neutral in your pelvis. Feet are planted, knees are bent, and we're going to send this weight up into the air. I like to keep my palm facing in, okay? And let's take the left hand and put it on your right rib cage. So like the top of your abdominals, right on your right rib cage. So that feedback is going to come into your hand as we move this weight around. You'll be able to feel what's happening at the rib cage, okay? So take a big breath in, and as you exhale, let this weight go overhead just a little bit. And notice what happens under your hand. Inhale, float the weight back up to the ceiling. And notice what happens. Exhale, the rib cage draws down, and we work to keep the ribs connected to the pelvis. As the weight goes overhead, it gets harder for that upper abdominal to connect. Big breath in. Exhale, the arm floats over. It's very small. Feel the rib draw down under your hand and back. And again. And floating back up. Now from here, you're going to keep your left hand exactly where it is. We're going to come into an ab prep, reaching this weight past your right hip. Nod the chin slightly Exhale, you're flexing up. Reach the weight past your hip, come up into your ab prep. Notice what happens under your ribs. The rib cage drops down, right? And inhale, let's float back up to the ceiling. Exhale, ab prep. And back down. And again. Really gives you a feeling of what's happening with the ribs as we flex the body. They soften and they go down towards the hips. And back one more time. Exhale, flex up, reach that weight down, and then let it float back up. Let's go with the other side. The left arm takes the weight, right hand comes on top of the left rib cage. We'll start with going overhead. Big breath in. Exhale, the arm goes over. Stay connected with the muscles under your hand. Inhale, floating up. Exhale, overhead. Inhale, float up. 2 more. Control that weight. Inhale, float. And again. So we're just working that upper abdominal area to maintain that connection under the rib cage. Now let's nod the chin. Flex up into your ab prep, reaching the arm. The rib should feel like it almost disappears under your hand. Inhale, floating up. Exhale, flexing up. And back. And back. 2 more. You're neutral in your pelvis. Last one. And back, letting that go, bringing the weight into both hands. You're holding it kind of like a sword now at this point, okay? So the weight is in both hands. Let's imprint the pelvis and bring the legs up to tabletop. Now from here, we're gonna go into some rotation. Nod through the chin, and as we flex up, send the weight past your left hip. Off to the side. Inhale, bring the head down. Exhale, flex to the right. Inhale, the head comes down. So we're nicely imprinted here. Legs are in tabletop. If tabletop's not working for you, you could totally do this with one foot on the floor or both. Flex it up. Inhale back. Keep that chin tucked. Inhale back. Make sure you're getting that big exhale. Feeling your oblique light up. And then heading back to the floor. Nice work, you guys. A few more. Flex it up. Reach that weight past your legs. And let's do one more each side. Come to center. Turn the weight so you have one end of it in each hand and it's floating above your face. Lengthen your legs a little. They don't have to be perfectly straight. They can definitely keep a bend. We're going into some scissors. Only as big as you can maintain your imprint. Exhale deeply. The arms just stay put, and we're only sending the legs back out as far as you can keep this imprint. So if that might mean yours is much smaller than mine, okay? And that's okay. So keep the legs high if you're finding you're losing your imprint. Can we all drop our belly button down a little bit more? Big exhales. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those knees in. I know we're getting tired. Can you still find your tailbone on the mat? If you can, bring the weight and put it right behind your head like a pillow. Okay? So now we've got this weight behind us. This is going to make it harder for us to flex up, but that's the point. Okay? Nod through the chin, flex up into a little crunch. Keep the weight behind you. We're going to come up an inch and down an inch. Exhale up. Inhale down. And down. Make sure you're not pushing your head too far forward. Make sure this movement is coming from the rib cage. And back. Just tune in, making sure you can feel your rib cage going up towards the pelvis an inch, away from the pelvis an inch. And back. I know it burns for 4. And 3, 2, and last one. Whew. Let that go. And let's bring the legs down. Nice work, you guys. We're almost done here. Do a nice big stretch. Let your rib cage pop. We really worked that upper abdominal here in this ab set, so you'll probably feel those tomorrow. When you're ready, turn to your side and come up to your knees. We're going to come onto the knees and send one leg out. Let's go with the right leg out to the side, okay? Now from here, we're going to hinge at the hips. So both sit bones go back behind you at the same time. Your spine is reaching out long, and we're going to put the hands down. Sort of like a modified push-up, okay? Now maintain this connection in the center of your body. Draw your abdominals close. We're going to lift the right leg off just an inch. Up and down. Exhale it up and down. And you really have to push into your hands and try to stabilize the center as we lift the leg. It's just an inch. Exhale up and back. Try to put the leg down with control. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Hold it up there. Hold that leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Let's take a shell stretch. Deep breath. Lots of fire in the hip there. And then let's get tall. Back up on our high knees. Send the left leg out. We're going to do the same thing here. So before you start thinking about lifting, let's find our good positioning. So send your sit bones back at the same time. Send your spine out long, and then the hands come down. We keep that positioning. Long spine here. Pressing down into your hands. Exhale, hover the left leg. Inhale, put it down. Exhaling it up and down. Keep that spine long. Exhale up and down. And again. And down. And lower. See how carefully you can put that leg back down. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and on this last one, let's hold it up. Reach that leg out beside you for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down, bring that leg in, take a shell. So good, you guys. Whew, the rest is stretching. So let's come onto your bum and bring the legs out wide. So if you've taken my classes before, you may have seen where we've done what I call a 90-90 stretch for the hips. This is kind of a modification on that. So you're going to take your arms, bring them behind you, just comfortably. They don't have to be, it doesn't have to be extreme. Bring the feet out wide. So we're kind of spread eagle here. We've got our legs out wide. Now I want you just to take a look at where your feet are. And we're going to pivot on the feet, keeping them right where they are, but allowing them to tip over, letting one knee come down and the other one tips out. Okay? Then we're going to come through center. The feet stay right where they are, and we go the other way, dropping one knee in and the other one out. So we come through center. Try not to let the feet travel on the floor. They're just pivoting on their edges. Coming through the This just should feel good for the hips. I can feel my bum trying to sneak forward. So try to keep your pelvis in the exact same place. Over and over. And this is just awesome for our hip mobility, which is something we can all use in our lives. Awesome, and let's let both knees come over to the right. Bring your left hand up and come into a modified pigeon. So now we've brought our chest over the shin of the front leg, and you're just getting into your pigeon stretch. It's sort of a modified pigeon because this leg is not directly behind you, okay? And just find a nice stretch through the glute. Reach your chest over your shin and then pull this front hip backwards, back behind you. Whew. Breathing into that hip. And then gently come through, bring that left arm back behind you, both arms go back, and we bring the legs to tip over to the left. The right arm comes up and over, and now we're into the other side, modified pigeon. Set yourself up with your chest reaching over the leg in front of you. Try not to collapse down into this leg. We want to stay lifted. And then drag that front hip backwards. Breathing into any tension that you feel. I feel a lot. Great. One more breath there. And releasing that. If you want to grab a cushion to sit on, we're going to sit on our cushion. Let the legs go as wide as you feel comfortable with, but only as wide as you can keep a long spine, okay? And let's come into some side bends. Just go side to side, nice, slow, controlled side bends. I want you to visualize you have a wall behind you, and you're just gliding along that wall. There's going to be a tendency to want to lean forward, and let's just try to stay tall instead. And let's settle down in the center, walking your hands out to your forward fold. Leave your sit bones back behind you on the cushion, rooting down. Breathe deeply into your hips, into your pelvis, your lower back. Nod your head yes. And then shake your head no. Take a big breath in, connect with your belly button, keep it with you, and slowly, slowly drag your fingertips back towards your legs, rounding your spine like an angry cat until you feel your lower spine start to stack. Reach the rest of your spine up tall, and you guys are all finished for this beautiful Wednesday. Thank you so much. You will definitely feel little muscles. We get right into the connective tissue with some of that balance work. So be prepared to feel your calves a little bit, maybe your shins, your ankles. I hope you had a great workout. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.